WillNisley.com. Will Nisley.
This is CNN 10. We're 10 minutes of global news explained for a global audience, and I'm your host, Carl Azuz. Thank you for watching. We are officially 1 year away from the next Olympics, the 2018 Winter Olympics. They kick off next February in Pyeongchang, South Korea. The city is east of Seoul in the northern part of the country. And though South Korea has hosted the games before, there have been 4 new events added for the 2018 Olympics. Alpine skiing will have a mixed team event. Curling will have a mixed doubles event. Speed skating will have what's being called a mass start event. And for snowboarders, a big air event makes its debut. There are a number of challenges that any city faces when hosting the Olympics. For one thing, it's incredibly expensive. Billions and billions are spent. Venues have to be built. Security has to be arranged. Host countries are under the international media microscope for everything from their weather to how they manage housing changes to their political conditions. South Korea's president, Park Geun-hye, was impeached in December, and a court is deciding whether to permanently remove her from power as a major investigation is made concerning the nation's political scandal. But on the other side of those challenges is the chance for Pyeongchang to shine as the backdrop of a beloved international sporting event, one that brings together athletes, families, fans, and photographers from all corners of the globe.
We are less than 1 year until the 2018 Winter Games begin in Pyeongchang. You know, as far as how things are going, no major issues so far. Organizers say they are largely happy with the progress that has been made. The majority of the infrastructure needed for this event has been built already. And frankly, that kind of progress stands out after what we've seen from the last 2 Olympic Games. Of course, I'm talking about the Winter Olympics in Sochi, Russia in 2014 and the Summer Olympics last year in Rio de Janeiro, 2016. Both of those events were plagued by things like construction delays, overspending, accusations of corruption, and so organizers of the Pyeongchang Winter Olympics are trying to do their best, in their words, to not repeat those kind of mistakes. But there are certainly challenges that remain, including the fact that Pyeongchang is one of the smaller cities to host these Winter Olympics, and the fact that there are still infrastructure projects that need to be completed. But they still have some time. They are a little less than a year away now, and of course, they have some experience. This is the second time that South Korea has held the Olympics. It was back in 1988 here in Seoul that the Summer Olympics were held, and so now South Korea gets a second chance to welcome the best athletes in the world to show off their best stuff. 1 year away. Matt Rivers, CNN, Seoul.
10-second trivia. The enhanced Fujita scale is used to measure the intensity of what? Tsunamis, tornadoes, hurricanes, or earthquakes? The enhanced Fujita scale rates tornadoes from EF0, the least damaging, to EF5, the most destructive. And U.S. weather officials say it was at least an EF2 tornado with wind speeds between 111 and 135 miles per hour that touched down in New Orleans, Louisiana on Tuesday. Dozens of people were hurt, some seriously, but Louisiana Governor John Bel Edwards says his state was blessed because no deaths were reported. He declared a state of emergency, though. A wide portion of southeastern Louisiana was affected by the storm's system. About 60 homes and businesses were damaged. Power was cut off for thousands of people. And Governor Edwards says it wasn't just New Orleans that was affected. 7 tornadoes were recorded in at least 6 different Louisiana parishes. How do forecasters track these storms?
This is a 2-dimensional look at a storm on radar, but meteorologists see a tornado. But what is it exactly that meteorologists see? Well, let's take a look. The yellow and green colors you see here are going to be your very heavy rain in the storm. The red color indicates your hail core. And then all the way down there, the purple circle, that's where your tornado is going to be. Meteorologists often refer to it as the hook echo because of the hook shape that it ends up taking. But these aren't the only features we look for. We also have to take a look at the winds inside the storm. Imagine this flag flagpole was inside of our storm, and the flag's going all the way up to the very top of the cloud. The thing is, the wind changes direction as you go up. So this naturally creates that rotation necessary for funnel clouds and also even tornadoes. So now let's take a look at the base of that storm. What you have is you have very warm inflow, warm air coming into the storm and rising, because that's what warm air does. It goes up. But you also have cold air coming down from the tops of the clouds and sinking all the way down towards the base. Now, together, these help to create wind shear down near the perimeter, and that is what helps create some of the more violent tornadoes. Now, what if your tornado has been on the ground for at least a little bit? Then you start to get this, the debris cloud, which is essentially a collection of all of the stuff the tornado has been able to pick up, everything from dust to trees to even homes.
Debate in the U.S. Congress over the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare, is nothing new. It's been going on since the overhaul of the U.S. healthcare system was proposed in 2009. What is new is that Republican lawmakers are moving forward with a new plan to repeal large parts of the law. Repealing Obamacare was a campaign promise of U.S. President Donald Trump. The law as it stands is controversial. It was considered former President Barack Obama's signature achievement, and it contributed to a record number of Americans having health insurance. But it became increasingly expensive for the federal government to support, and a growing number of insurance companies dropped Obamacare as an option. Because the debate about the law itself and about how to replace it is ongoing, CNN hosted a town hall on Tuesday night to explore both sides of the U.S. healthcare divide. On the left is Bernie Sanders, an independent U.S. Senator from Vermont who recently sought the Democratic nomination for president. On the right is Ted Cruz, a U.S. Senator from Texas who recently sought the Republican nomination for president.
It was built on an edifice of lies.
Senators Bernie Sanders and Ted Cruz facing off over President Trump's promise to repeal and replace Obamacare.
Should Congress move swiftly to repeal Obamacare? Absolutely.
The absolute repeal of Obamacare without improvements in it, without a plan to make it better, would be an absolute disaster.
The two senators laying out sharply contrasting views of health care in America.
What is a right is access to health care. What is a right is choosing your own doctor.
Go out and get a really great health insurance program. Oh, you can't do it because you can't afford it. All right? That's what he's saying. Access to what? You want to buy one of Donald Trump's mansions? You have access to do that as well. Oh, you can't afford $5 million for a house? Sorry.
The duo finding common ground on problems in American health care.
You know who's making out like gangbusters? The insurance companies and those in government whose solution is let's have even more government control. This thing isn't working.
You know,
Senator
Sanders. I find myself in agreement with Ted. He's right.
But disagreeing on solutions.
Let's work together on a Medicare for all single-payer program. So we're finally going to get insurance companies, private insurance companies, out of our lives.
The answer is empower you, give you choices, lower prices, lower premiums, lower deductibles.
Cruz arguing that proposals to replace Obamacare will continue to protect people with pre-existing conditions, a key tenet of the law.
All of them prohibit insurance companies from canceling someone because they got sick. They prohibit insurance companies from jacking up the insurance rates because they got sick or injured.
I cannot believe what you just said. It's in direct contradiction to everything you ran for president on.
Sanders also giving tough advice for this salon owner, feeling restricted by the law.
How do I grow my business? How do I employ more Americans without either raising the prices to my customers or lowering wages to my employees?
I'm sorry. I think that in America today, everybody should have health care. If you have more than 50 people, yes, you should be providing health insurance.
In the history of bear hugs, this one truly gets 10 out of 10. In the don't try this at home category, a 23-year-old bear who was rescued and the man who rescued him. The animal's named Jimbo. He lives at the Orphaned Wildlife Center in New York State. And the 9-foot-tall, 1,500-pound Kodiak has, as you can see, an unusually close bond with Jim Kowalczyk, a retired corrections officer who rehabilitates bear cubs that can't survive in the wild. If you find it hard to believe that Cody actually happened, there certainly is cause for concern. Bears in the wild are well known to Kodiak people, but that one doesn't Jimbo to peer pressure. While it might seem unbelievable, Jimbo gives all her signs of friendliness. That puts today's show in the Roar View. I'm Carl Azuz for CNN 10.
Hey guys, if you want to get active on my channel, if you want to get that latest stuff, if you want to get the latest blog posts, then click or tap the subscribe button right up here. You can also check out my website with the latest posts right down here. And you can view a random video for yourself right over here. Also, I encourage you guys to check out the description down below.